Hey everyone. So whenever a crime takes place, the very first thing which people do is to get the FIR registered. So today our video is going to be about FIR. We will discuss whether it is mandatory for police to register FIR or not, whether they can deny, how it is lodged, what is the evidentiary value of FIR, and some of the leading cases. So let's begin. FIR stands for First Information Report. So it is the first information which is received after the crime is committed. If you check the code, that means CRPC, in CRPC there is no section which defines FIR or gives any definition. However, as per a decided case, Justice Arijit Pasaya defines FIR as a document or a report which gives the information, the first information after the crime is committed, and crime has to be a cognizable crime. We will discuss what is cognizable crime and how it is different from non-cognizable crime. So till now we understood what FIR is. FIR is a report or a document which gives the information of a crime, the first information of a crime which is committed, and the crime is cognizable. As already discussed, code nowhere defines FIR, but the section 154 of the CRPC prescribes the complete procedure as to how an FIR to be registered. It gives the complete details of the registration of an FIR. Section 154 says every information received of a cognizable offense. So, information can be received orally or in written form. If it is received orally, the officer in charge has duty. It is a mandatory section because word shall is used here. So, officer in charge of police station shall reduce that information in writing and get the information signed by the informant. And if it is in writing, again get the information signed by the informant and write the substance in a book which is prescribed by the government. Now let's understand the meaning of cognizable offences, which is defined under section 2 clause C of the CRPC. That simply means the offences under which the police has wide power to arrest a person, that means offender, even without having the warrant. Generally what happens, for getting a person arrested, police needs warrant issued by the court. But when the offender has committed a cognizable offence, then the police can arrest that person even without having the warrant. Till now, you must have understood that if the police has such wide power, that means the nature of the offense is quite serious, and therefore such powers are given to police. And how you will understand whether the offense is cognizable or not? For that, a complete list is given under Schedule First of the CRPC. So in CRPC, in the very first schedule, a complete list is given in which you can easily find the offenses which are cognizable. Now to sum up the meaning, cognizable offences are those offences under which the police can arrest even without having the warrant, and the complete list of cognizable offences is given under Schedule First of the CRPC. Whether the police enjoy discretionary power and can deny, refuse to register an FIR, or it is a mandatory provision and police has to register an FIR. The question was considered and answered in Lalita Kumari versus Government of UP case 2013. The court said the section 154 uses the word shall. Let me show you the section first. Section says every information. It does not qualify word information with some other words like reasonable information. Just it simply says every information. What all needed here is the information should be related to the commission of a cognizable offense. So this is what all required. If the information is there and the information is of the cognizable offense, the officer in charge of the police station has duty to register the FIR. So the word shall is used here. I always say that shall indicates the mandate and may indicates the discretion. So the word shall makes this section mandatory section, and the police has no discretion but to register the FIR. This section is a mandatory section. Therefore, the police has no discretion. So it is used here. You can see the entire section filled with the word shall. But in some of the cases as mentioned here, let me show you. So here, police has been given the discretion. Police may conduct a prior inquiry, which is known as preliminary inquiry. So here police has discretion. In other cases, police has no discretion. Here, police has discretion and may conduct a prior inquiry before registration of the FIR. Or when the police has doubt whether the offence falls in the category of cognizable offences or non-cognizable offences, there also police can conduct a preliminary inquiry. Sometimes it may happen that the information is given to police and the information given is of a cognizable offense and still the police refuses to register the FIR. In this case, the remedies are given under the code itself. If the police refuses to register the FIR, the aggrieved can reach to the SP, Superintendent of Police, under section 154 clause 3 of the CRPC, and if he does not take any action, aggrieved can approach even to the magistrate under section 156 clause 3 of the CRPC, and if these sections do not give any relief, the aggrieved can reach to the High Court or even to the Supreme Court under Article 226 or Article 32 through the writ petitions, and this was explained under the case Sikri Vasu versus State of UP. So this is the chart showing hierarchy. So first of all, FIR has to be registered under section 154 of the CRPC. If the police does not register, reach to the SP under section 154 clause 3 of the code. If SP does not take any action, reach to magistrate under section 156 clause 3 of the CRPC. If these sections do not give any relief, then reach to the Supreme Court and High Court under Article 226 and Article 32 of the Constitution through writ petitions. Now let's discuss the evidentiary value of FIR. That means, can FIR be taken as an evidence? And if taken, what is the value of the FIR? So let me tell you first that FIR is not a substantive piece of evidence. That simply means it cannot be the sole basis of conviction. It cannot attract the punishment even if it is proved. So let me tell you what happened in the Agro Negotia case. In Agro Negotia case, Agro Negotia killed his relatives. He went to the police station. He registered the FIR and the FIR was confessional in nature. He confessed that he killed his relatives. But FIR has no substantive evidence value, therefore it could not be proved in the trial. However, it can be substantive piece of evidence in two conditions: when it fall under section 32 of the Indian Evidence Act or under section 27 of the Indian Evidence Act. So this is all about FIR. So I end my video here. Thank you so much for watching it.